So picture this, it's May 1979, Whitesnake packs their gear, drives out to a Gothic Revival castle built in 1727, deep in the forest of Dean in Gloucestershire, and moves in for a month. No nearby studio, no city, no normal life, just a band, a recording truck parked outside running cables through the windows, and a producer who's about to convince them that the place is absolutely crawling with ghosts. This is how you make Lovehunter. And if you've been following this series, we've been through Deep Purple, we've watched David Coverdale hand in his resignation, we've covered the solo records, Snakebite, the first Whitesnake album. Then you already know this band has been circling something heavier, grittier, and sure of itself. Lovehunter is where they start to find it. The location was Clearwell Castle, and the choice wasn't random. Coverdale's former Deep Purple bandmates had used the same place to write and rehearse Burn and Stormbringer, so there's already DNA baked into the walls before Whitesnake ever plugs in, because the castle had no built-in control room. They'd brought in the Rolling Stones mobile studio, a full recording truck, parked on the grounds, cables running inside through the windows. It's one of those setups that sounds incredibly inconvenient and also completely perfect for a band trying to make a blues rock record with some genuine atmosphere. At the production helm was Birch, the headmaster, who had engineered for Deep Purple and was in the middle of building one of the greatest production runs in hard rock history. Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, this was that era. Birch had a knack for capturing sound that felt physically immediate, where guitars punched through the clean and nothing went soft in mid-range. And then he did something genuinely brilliant. He convinced the entire band that Clearwell Castle was haunted. During late-night sessions, he'd pipe ghostly sound effects and whispered voices directly into the band's headphone monitors while they were tracking. Whether that's psychological genius or just a producer trolling at a very high level is up for debate. But the result was the band playing on edge, alert, and a little unnerved, and it's all over the record. Musically, the sessions locked in the twin guitar dynamic of Bernie Marsden and Micky Moody for the first time in a real studio environment. Birch tracked them to emphasize the contrast of Moody's bottleneck slide versus Marsden's heavier classic rock riffs and melodic solos. John Lord laid down the Hammond and piano that locked seamlessly with Neil Murray's bass. The castle's natural acoustics gave the rhythm a booming ambient quality before everything was sent off to London for final mixing. There was one crack in the foundation, though, and it was about to become a fault line. Drummer David Coverdale tracked the whole record, and Coverdale, to put it diplomatically, had concerns. He said Whitesnake was starting to remind him of a Spanish tourist hotel. Looked good from the outside, but the foundations were a bit shaky. Dowell struggled under the pressure of both Birch's demands and a month of isolation, and after the tracking route in July 1979, he was out. Now here's where it gets interesting. Paice, Deep Purple's drummer, one of the most powerful and precise players in hard rock, had been keeping an eye on what Whitesnake was doing. He mentioned to John Lord that he fancied getting involved. Lord passed it along, and Coverdale's response was essentially, "Whoa, now wouldn't that be the cherry on the cake of my day?" Paice joined in July 1979. Coverdale was so blown away at rehearsals that he actually tried to go back and re-record all of Dowie's drum parts for Lovehunter with Paice behind the kit. Management said no, there was budget, schedule, usual reasons, so Lovehunter ships with Dowie's drums on the record and Paice in every promo photo and on every stage, which naturally sent the music press absolutely sideways. Think about it, Coverdale, John Lord, Paice, 3/5 of Deep Purple Mark III in the same band. The reunion speculation was immediate and relentless. Coverdale pushed back firmly. He said he was happier in Whitesnake than he'd ever been in Purple, and this was evolution, not a scheme. But the headlines wrote themselves regardless. What Paice did do almost immediately was transform the live show. Neil Murray's fluid bass and Paice's driving heavy pocket locked together in a way that made Coverdale say they could have built a bloody hotel in that foundation. The new lineup played the 1979 Reading Festival right before the album dropped and went down an absolute storm. It gave Lovehunter serious momentum in the UK before people had heard it properly. But now, time to talk about the album cover. After Trouble came out in 1978, Coverdale had taken a beating from the UK press for his macho, unapologetically charged blues lyrics, accused of sexism repeatedly. So when it came time to plan the follow-up, rather than pull back, he doubled down. The stated intention was to create a cover just to piss him off even more. They commissioned Chris Achelios, a respected Cypriot British fantasy artist whose work had appeared in magazines that would later influence the aesthetic of the 1981 animated film Heavy Metal. What Achelios delivered was not subtle, the rear view of a naked woman straddling the coiled body of a massive serpent. The reaction was exactly what Coverdale wanted, and then some. In the US, the album was either shrink-wrapped in a brown paper bag or slapped with a sticker covering the artwork entirely. In Argentina, authorities forced the label to literally airbrush a chainmail bikini onto the figure before it could be sold. The UK music press lost their collective minds. Even within the band, there was discomfort. Marsden later admitted he thought it was cheap, to the point where when fans bring him a copy to sign today, he writes the word cheap where you normally put cheers. But the real victim of the whole thing was Achelios, the backlash from religious groups, critics, the general moral outrage machine. Disillusioned him so badly enough that he refused to work on another rock album cover for over 20 years. He didn't accept another music commission until 2003, and the original painting itself, stolen from a storage facility sometime in the 1980s and never recovered. But now let's go back to the music. 10 tracks, 2 sides, and it moves. Long Way From Home opens things up with a melodic commercial rock feel, infectious guitar riff, big group vocal chorus, radio friendly in the best late 70s sense. Then Waking in the Shadow of the Blues hits. And this is a really good one. This is the early Whitesnake anthem, John Lord's Moody keyboard intro, dropping into a heavy blues rock stomp, Marsden delivering a blistering solo that might be his best moment on the record. It's a mission statement. Help Me Through the Day is a Leon Russell cover that Coverdale turns into a late night atmosphere piece. Deep, soulful vocals, Moody with an extended, expressive slide solo that's genuinely agonizing in the best way. Medicine Man brings the energy back with riff-heavy Doctor of Love bravado and tight, harmonized guitar run. You and Me closes out side 1 with a breezy, slightly rockabilly-influenced number that Marsden originally wrote to pitch to Leon Russell, and they kept it and they realized it was too good to give away. Side 2 opens with Mean Business, full throttle, everyone firing at maximum velocity, and John Lord absolutely going off on the organ. Lovehunter, the title track, is a slow, low-slung, southern infected blues groove where Micky Moody's slide guitar completely takes over. The twin guitar battle between Moody and Marsden in that track became an extended live staple for years. Then Outlaw does something unusual. Coverdale steps away from the mic entirely and Bernie Marsden takes lead vocals. It's lighter outlaw rock feel, and Lord cuts loose again with bright cascading keyboard solo. Rock and Roll Women opens with a riff so close to Johnny B. Good it almost makes you laugh, but it earns it. Driving rhythm, addictive chorus, and then We Wish You Well closed the album in under 90 seconds. Acoustic, soft, Coverdale singing a direct thank you to the fans. Simple enough that Whitesnake used it to play the audiences out of arenas for decades. So where does Lovehunter land in the story? It's a transition record, and it knows it. The band is shedding the last remnants of the solo album era and finding something harder, tighter, and more deliberate. They're not quite there yet, but the blueprint is on the table. Because Paice is in the room now, and next time he actually gets to play the record. Ready and Willing is up next, and that's where the classic early lineup finally gets captured on tape together, so that will be coming up soon. In the meantime, check out the Deep Purple playlist, the story of Deep Purple from the beginning, and adjacent bands, Rainbow, Whitesnake, Gillan, the Ian Gillan Band, and Select Black Sabbath. It's all coming up. I add them as I make them. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. See you in the next one.